We all know that Disney tends to pretty dramatically change the original fairy tales to give them all a happy ending. So today, we are going to talk all about the original Rapunzel. And I'm just still happy because it's Rapunzel. Hello and welcome to the Queendom. I'm Sarah Engel, and today we're telling the story of the original Rapunzel, which is quite different from Tangled. And even though we're all big Tangled fans around here, we still like the old Rapunzel. In fact, growing up, I actually had this really old cassette, not cassette, what are they called? VHS! That's how long ago this was. A VHS at my grandparents' house that I would watch, and it had fairy tales in it, and one of them was the story of Rapunzel. And it was closer to the original fairy tale than Disney's, but it still wasn't quite on. And it was one of my favorites to watch, and it was probably Rapunzel and the Princess and the Pea. If you didn't already know, Rapunzel is a German fairy tale written by the Grimm brothers. I know some people think that Rapunzel is French because Tangled, the castle in it, was based off of a castle that is in France. But Rapunzel and the story itself are still supposed to be basically set in Germany. Oh, and if you stick around to the end, I have a very special surprise that I'm gonna share with you guys that is also teasing some very exciting stuff coming up that's also tied with Rapunzel. So, without any further ado, Rapunzel, the original! Once upon a time, there was a man and his wife. And the man loved the wife as mans should love the wives. They really wanted to have a child. So one of their neighbors is this enchantress that everybody hates and nobody dares talk to her, and she's the evil and stuff. And she's surrounded by this really big high wall because she wants to keep all of them out too. The wife is pregnant, so she gets these weird cravings. But anyway, so Rapunzel's parents can actually see into her garden out their back window. I guess maybe they live up higher on the hill.
I have the high ground.
Mama Rapunzel sees these flowers, and the flowers are called Rapunzel. There's literally a type of flower called Rapunzel. I didn't know that.
Flower, clean and glow.
And it's basically, it's kind of like a turnip. So like the flowers aren't the part you eat, but there's like a turnip in the ground and a flower grows out. And so this lady sees like the green stems of these radishes, and she just, for whatever reason, really wants some of these radishes, and she just literally thinks she's going to die if she does not get a radish. I mean, talk about dramatic. So, her husband, who loves her very much and does not want her to die and does not want her to be sad and wants to get a radish, climbs over the wall and gets her some radishes, or Rapunzel flowers with radishes attached to them so that she can eat them. Rapunzel's mom loves some Rapunzel salad, which is kind of a strange thing to say when you think that her future daughter is gonna be called Rapunzel. Anyway, she loves this salad so much, like they say, like she wants it even more now. She's like addicted to this salad. So her husband tries to go back and get her even more of these radishes. And so he tries to sneak back in, but this time he gets caught by the enchantress. And she's mad, as she should be, because people shouldn't be stealing your Rapunzel radishes. It's like, I'm so sorry, it's for my wife. She says she thinks she's going to die if she does not get to eat your Rapunzel radishes. And honestly, the witch, well, enchantress, is probably like, really? She's going to die?
Skip the drama.
I don't know, I don't buy it. I think there's a little silly here. But then the enchantress has to take this to a whole nother level and basically says, it's okay, you can have the radishes if you give me your child that your wife is going to have. And the guy agrees. Priorities, people, priorities. In what world is it worth risking your husband's life to go into this crazy witch lady's yard to steal her radishes and then trade your child for the radishes? It makes no sense. But they really like these radishes.
Please, Rapunzel, that's demented.
So anyway, this guy gets scared, promises their firstborn child to the enchantress, and then when his wife has their first child, the enchantress comes to collect their child and decides to call the child Rapunzel. Rapunzel grew into the most beautiful child under the sun. She doesn't get put up in a tower until she's 12 years old. She just lives behind the wall with the witch and still has never met anybody else. She just lives behind the wall, but once she's 12, she has this super, super long hair, so the witch puts her up in a tower where there's no stairs, and so the only way to get up and down is by her braided hair. She like throws it over this hook and then she goes, Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair. 1 or 2 years later, and the king's son is riding through the forest and hears her beautiful voice and is just like enchanted by her voice and loves listening to her sing and goes to find where the singing is coming from. And he sees this tower and hears this voice coming from it. And Rapunzel apparently sings a lot because she doesn't have a lot else to do. She doesn't have her 7 a.m. usual morning lineup in this tower. Actually, maybe she does. He starts to come back every day to listen to the singing because he's obsessed with it. There's a lot of people with obsessions in this story. So one day, the prince sees the enchantress come and sees how she gets into the tower. When it got dark out, he goes to try and he's like, Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair. I don't know, maybe he tries to do it in her voice so she doesn't notice. Anyway, Rapunzel does let down her hair and she brings him up and she's very startled, just like in the movie, because she's never seen a man before. The only person she ever met was the enchantress. So basically, he starts talking to her like they're friends and she realizes that he's actually very friendly. And somehow on this very first meeting, he's like telling her how much he loves her singing, is completely enchanted by it, and wants her to marry him. She says, Dame Gothel. Oh, her name is Gothel. She thinks that, well, he's going to love me more than Gothel will. So yes, I agree to marry you. However, she does not know how to get down from the tower because the only way in and out is with her hair. Anyway, he decides that since Gothel's during the day, he's gonna come at night and bring her a scarf every night until they can tie enough scarves together to let her down from the tower. I've read some places on the internet that supposedly Gothel notices that Rapunzel is pregnant, and that's how she knows someone's been up there. The version I read that had the side-by-side German translation, I mean, obviously I don't read German, so I don't know if it's correct, basically says the reason Gothel knows someone's been up there is because she says, why does it take you so long to get up here? Why, it's so much faster when the prince comes up here. The enchantress hears this, Gothel hears this, and she's like so angry. She's like, you've betrayed me, you let somebody else up here, and is so mad. Gothel takes a pair of scissors, cuts Rapunzel's hair. Rapunzel's like devastated, so sad that her hair's all gone. And then Gothel takes her to a desert and leaves her there with short hair. I don't know why, she just does. I think it's like to punish her. The prince is supposed to come back again, and so when he goes, Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair, guess who lets down Rapunzel's cut hair? The enchantress. Gothel lets down Rapunzel's cut hair, and so he climbs up it, and then he's like, you're not Rapunzel, and she says, you're never gonna see Rapunzel again, and he's so sad that the prince jumps out the window and lands somehow eyeballs first in a thorn bush, and his eyes are gouged out with thorns, and now he's blind and cannot see. He's so sad that he cannot find Rapunzel that he just wanders around the forest and eats nothing but roots and berries and cries and weeps and laments about how he cannot find Rapunzel, and he is so sad. So anyways, he's wandering around in the forest for years. She's wandering around in the desert for years, and she apparently also had his twins. So she's in the desert with their twin children, Luke and Leia, not really, but maybe. And one day as he's wandering, he hears a voice. And it is Rapunzel's voice, and he goes towards it and he finds Rapunzel. And she's so happy to see him that she cries, and the tears from her eyes hit his eyes and heal his eyes, just like in the movie, kind of. And so now he's able to see, and he's so happy that he's found his wife and his children, and he leads them off to the kingdom where they live happily ever after. It's actually a happy ending. It's like the only fairy tale that actually has a happy ending. There's a very, very dark time, literally, with some gouged out eyes, but they actually have a happy ending. You know what I think is almost so interesting is how many parts of it Disney actually, even if they didn't make it the same, they took from the original fairy tale and really like put this cool spin on it and snuck it in there somehow. It's just very cool. Rapunzel was written in 1812. So back in those times, people did get married when they're like 13, 14. That wasn't anything that was outside of societal norms, so it's not even that weird. I feel like Rapunzel and the prince didn't even do anything that weird. That's probably why they got to live happily ever after. The parents, nobody ever knows what happened to them. They just now are childless but can have a lot of salad. Yay them. So now you guys get to find out the very exciting news. Part of the reason I wanted to share this with you, this German fairy tales, not only because we're obsessed with Tangled and hair things and Disney, but this next upcoming week is going to be Germany week, because I'm going to Germany, which by the time this video comes out, I'll actually be flying back from Germany. So this whole next week of videos, all three of them, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, are going to be Germany vlogs. I'm just super, 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 super excited. Never been there, my dad's never been there, and we're gonna have fun. And I'm glad we get to do something not only that's a cool travel vlog, but it's also related to Rapunzel, which Rapunzel like breathes life into this channel. It's something that I feel like no matter if you're here for the hair stuff or the Disney stuff, we can all get behind Rapunzel. So question for you, what is your favorite fairy tale? Tell me in the comments. I'm super excited to see what you guys have to say. Anyways, if you guys don't want to miss that, make sure you subscribe and ring the little bell so that you are the first ones to see when those come out, because this is gonna be very exciting. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed learning more about the original Rapunzel fairy tale. I'll see you guys in Germany. Rapunzel radishes. Radunzels? Rapunzels! Rapunculus! You're gonna find out, we find out her name! Never mind. We not. Okay.